Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything you thought you knew about your own existence was incomplete. That there are parts of you that have been operating in the background, influencing every thought, every emotion, and every decision you've made so far. Think about the possibility that your true nature is not limited to just your physical body, but that there are deeper dimensions of your being that have remained hidden, waiting to be discovered. Why do some people seem to be in complete harmony with life, while others feel trapped in a cycle of suffering and confusion? Why do some experience peace and clarity, while others live in constant internal conflict? The answer lies in the four bodies of your soul. They are the invisible structures that determine how you perceive reality and the level of consciousness you find yourself in. Each of these bodies has a specific function, and until you understand and balance them, you will not be able to experience the fullness of your true potential. Today, we will reveal the secrets of these four bodies. But there's something more. The last one is the most powerful, and understanding it is the key to achieving true awakening. What you will discover in this video has the potential to transform the way you see life forever. To embark on this journey, we must acknowledge a fundamental truth. The human being is not just flesh and bone. If you believe you are only a physical body, you are trapped in an illusion that limits your evolution. From ancient Hermetic teachings to the wisdom of the Vedas, all spiritual traditions have pointed out that our existence is multidimensional. The first level of this structure is the physical body, the most evident and tangible. It is the vehicle that allows us to interact with the material world. Through it, we experience pleasure and pain, rest and exhaustion, illness and vitality. Every sensation we perceive, every biological function that occurs within us belongs to this level of existence. However, humanity's greatest mistake has been to identify solely with this body. From the moment we are born, we are taught to prioritize it above all else, to care for it, to nourish it, to strengthen it. But what about the other dimensions of being? What happens when our physical well-being isn't enough to bring us true satisfaction? The ancient sages already knew the answer. Hermes Trismegistus, in his famous principle of correspondence, left us a key teaching. As above, so below, as within, so without. This means that our physical body is merely a reflection of what occurs at more subtle levels of our being. An illness in the body is nothing more than an external manifestation of an internal imbalance. And here arises a crucial question. If the physical body is only the outermost layer, what lies beyond? This leads us to the second level. This is the realm where our feelings, passions, and deepest fears reside. While the physical body feeds on food and oxygen, the emotional body nourishes itself through experiences, human interactions, memories, and unresolved traumas. Emotions are energy in motion. Every time you feel joy, gratitude, or love, your energy field expands and your vibration rises. But when you experience fear, anger, or sadness, you create blockages that limit your evolution. This is where many people become trapped without realizing it. Think of how many times you've reacted impulsively without understanding why. How often has an intense emotion led you to make decisions you later regretted? This happens because the emotional body operates at a subconscious level. If we don't understand and balance it, we end up being controlled by it instead of controlling it ourselves. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, once said, "Until the unconscious becomes conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This statement holds a profound truth. Most people live their lives unaware that they are being governed by emotions and beliefs formed in their childhood. They believe they have control, but in reality, they are being swept along by invisible patterns they don't understand. But here lies the key. When you learn to work with your emotional body, you regain power over your life. You no longer react from fear or insecurity, but from a higher state of awareness. And this is just the beginning. In the next part, we will explore the third body, one that few understand, but which serves as the gateway to a higher level of consciousness. Without this knowledge, awakening remains incomplete. Are you ready to discover it? Having already explored the physical body and the emotional body, it's time to delve into an even deeper level of our existence. What you will discover next is the bridge between who you think you are and who you really are. After the physical body and the emotional body, we encounter the third level of our energy structure, the mental body. This is the center of our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions about reality. If the physical body allows us to move in the material world, and the emotional body connects us to our inner experiences, the mental body is responsible for interpreting everything that happens to us and giving it meaning. But here is a staggering truth that few grasp. Most people do not control their minds. They believe they think freely, that their ideas and beliefs are their own. But in reality, they are products of conditioning, external influences, and narratives imposed by society, education, and culture. From the moment we are born, our minds are shaped by everything around us. We are told what is real and what isn't, what is possible and what is not, what we should fear and what we should pursue. The most dangerous part of all this is that the mind, when not understood or guided, becomes an invisible prison. It traps us in a cycle of repetitive thoughts that determine our actions, our habits, and ultimately, our destiny. This is where many people get stuck in their awakening process. They try to change their reality on a physical level, seek answers in their emotions, but still fail to find peace because they haven't learned to master their mental body. The philosopher René Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." But the question that few consider is, where do those thoughts actually come from? Am I the one thinking, or am I simply the receiver of ideas coming from outside? To truly awaken, you must learn to observe your mind without identifying with it. Every thought you have is merely a vibration in your energy field. Some thoughts lift you up while others weaken you, but the key is recognizing that you are not your thoughts. Think about this. How many times have you had negative, self-destructive, or limiting thoughts that you knew weren't true, yet you believed them anyway? Perhaps you've told yourself, "I'm not enough. I'll never achieve this. I don't deserve to be happy." Those thoughts are not the truth. They are programs that have been installed in your mind over the years. This is where the true power of the mental body comes into play. When you learn to cleanse your mind of limiting beliefs, when you take control of your thoughts instead of letting them control you, you begin to experience a new level of clarity and freedom. But how do you achieve this? The answer has been taught in all spiritual traditions since time immemorial. The practice of observation in Buddhism is called mindfulness. In Hermetic philosophy, it is known as mental alchemy. In Hindu tradition, it is the mastery of manas, the mind. All these teachings point to the same thing: the power of being aware of your thoughts without being swept away by them. When you are able to do this, you realize that many of the limitations you thought you had were just illusions created by your mind. You stop identifying with fear, anxiety, and doubt. You start to live from a state of presence, where you don't react automatically to external stimuli, but choose how to respond to each situation from a higher level of awareness. And this is where everything begins to change. But there is still more. So far, we have talked about the physical body, the emotional body, and the mental body. However, there is a fourth body, the most mysterious and powerful of all, the ultimate level of our existence. It cannot be understood with logic or rational thought. It is the source of our true essence, the core of our being. Few manage to experience it consciously, but those who do discover the ultimate answer to the question that has intrigued humanity for centuries: who am I really? In the next part, we will explore this fourth body and its connection to the deepest truth of our existence. Without this knowledge, awakening remains incomplete. Get ready, because what comes next could change your life forever. Until now, we have explored three fundamental dimensions of our being: the physical body, the emotional body, and the mental body. But there's something more, something that transcends the material, the sensory, and the rational, a level of existence that few come to fully understand, yet it holds the key to true awakening. Unlike the other bodies, the spiritual body is not visible. It cannot be touched or measured with scientific instruments. It is the essential core of who we are, the divine spark that connects us to the whole. While the physical body belongs to the world of matter, the emotional body to the realm of sensations, and the mental body to the world of thoughts, The spiritual body belongs to the domain of pure consciousness, the source of our existence. But here arises the big question. If we all have a spiritual body, why do most people not consciously experience it? The answer is simple, because we live disconnected from it. From the moment we are born, our attention is consumed by the material world. We are taught to identify with our bodies, our emotions, and our thoughts, but we are rarely taught to look beyond. Society conditions us to believe that the only thing that is real is what we can see and touch. And so without realizing it, we disconnect from the most important part of our being. However, the spiritual body is still there, waiting to be rediscovered. Ancient spiritual traditions have spoken of this principle for centuries. In Hinduism, it's known as the Atman, the supreme being that resides in each of us. In Buddhism, it is the Buddha nature, the state of enlightenment that transcends the ego. In Hermetic teachings, it is the principle of unity with the cosmos, the connection with the universal mind. But how can we access this dimension of our being? To answer this question, we must understand a fundamental truth. The spiritual body cannot be experienced through the rational mind. It is not something we can analyze or comprehend intellectually. It is something that must be lived, felt, directly experienced. This is where the practice of presence, meditation, and the expansion of consciousness comes into play. When we learn to quiet the mind and disconnect from the distractions of the outside world, we begin to perceive a deeper reality, a state of peace and clarity that goes beyond any emotion or thought. Think about this. Have you ever felt a moment of deep connection with the universe? Perhaps while gazing at the stars, while meditating, or in a moment of absolute silence where everything seemed to be in perfect harmony. That is your spiritual body manifesting, reminding you that you are much more than you believe. But here lies the greatest obstacle, the ego. The ego is the barrier that prevents us from experiencing our true essence. It is the voice in our head that tells us we are separate from others, that we are just a body, that our identity is reduced to our name, our story, and our possessions. And as long as we continue to identify with the ego, the spiritual body will remain hidden. Esoteric teachings tell us that the ego is like a shadow that conceals the light of our consciousness. This doesn't mean it should be destroyed, but transcended. When we stop identifying with the illusion of a separate self, when we understand that we are part of something much greater, we begin to experience true freedom. This is the moment when everything changes. When you activate your spiritual body, you stop living in fear. Death is no longer a threat because you understand that you are eternal. The worries of the material world lose their power over you because you recognize that true wealth is not outside, but within you. And here's the most important revelation of all. Awakening is not about becoming something new, but remembering what you have always been. But there is something else, a final piece that connects everything. In the last part of this video, we will reveal the ultimate secret about the four bodies of your soul and how to integrate them to experience total awakening. What you will discover next is the key that unites all levels of your being. Without this knowledge, the process remains incomplete. Are you ready for the final truth? Now that we have explored the four bodies of our existence, the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual, we arrive at the most important part of all. Because knowing that these bodies exist is not enough. The key to true awakening lies in aligning them, in making them work together in harmony. And this is where many fail on their spiritual path. Some focus solely on the physical body, believing that health and longevity are the ultimate goals. Others get trapped in the emotional body, allowing their feelings to take control without understanding their origin. Some seek answers in the mental body, devouring knowledge, but without really applying it. And a few manage to catch a glimpse of the spiritual body, but they fail to anchor it in their daily lives. However, real awakening doesn't happen when you focus on just one of these bodies. It occurs when all work together. When energy flows freely through them, it allows you to live in a state of balance and deep connection with the universe. Think about it for a moment. What good is it to develop the mind if your body is weak and ill? What good is it to reach an elevated spiritual state if you continue to be a slave to uncontrollable emotions? What good is it to have a healthy body if your mind is filled with negative and limiting thoughts? Integration is the key. To achieve it, a purification process is necessary at every level of your being. The physical body must be treated like a temple. Conscious eating, exercise, rest, and connection with nature are fundamental. It's not about obsessing over physical perfection, but rather understanding that the body is the vehicle that allows you to experience this reality. The emotional body needs to be understood. It's not about repressing emotions or letting them drag you down, but rather observing them with awareness. Every emotion you experience has a message for you. The key is to learn to feel without getting stuck in suffering. The mental body must be trained. The mind is a powerful tool, but only if you learn to use it correctly. If you're not the one directing your thoughts, someone else will do it for you. Meditation, introspection, and questioning your beliefs will help you break free from the conditioning that has been implanted in you. Finally, the spiritual body must be activated. This doesn't happen by reading books or accumulating information. It only occurs when you allow yourself to experience life from a state of total presence. When you connect with what you truly are, beyond time, beyond space, beyond the illusion of the self. But here comes the most important revelation of all. You don't need to seek awakening anywhere outside of yourself. You don't need to follow gurus. You don't need complicated doctrines. You don't need to renounce the world to find the truth. Everything you need is already within you. It has always been there. You just need to remember. And when you remember, everything changes. Fear disappears because you know you are more than just a body. Anxiety dissolves because you realize that life has a greater purpose. Confusion fades because you stop searching for answers outside and start listening to your own inner wisdom. Awakening isn't about becoming something new. It's about peeling away all the layers of illusions that have been imposed on you and seeing clearly what has always been there. And now I ask you, are you ready to take that step? If you've made it this far, it's not by chance. Something within you knew you needed to hear this because deep down, you already know the truth. You just need to allow yourself to remember it. So choose. Continue living as you have been, or take the first step toward real awakening. The decision has always been in your hands. Thank you for watching.